never ends. The fighter in you brings out the fighter in me. Shake it off and take your corner, time for shout outs. The fighter in
Welcome
you
back,
brings
fight
out
friends, to another episode of the Mighty Shoutout Podcast. Hope everyone is doing well. It is the last month of 2025. I am not going to lie to you. I'm deliberately going to slow this down for December because I want to. But yeah, anyway, hope everyone's had a good 2025. Hey, real quick, guys, I just posted on Instagram some stats. So this podcast gets hosted for like, what do you mean by hosted? Like, when I record a podcast, I put it on Spotify's service. I use them, and they distribute it for me. And it's really easy, to be honest, once I figured out how to do it. And they do this cool thing where at the end of the year, just like your Spotify breakdown that you guys all get, but we get one as well for the creators, and you get to hear some cool stuff. So in saying that, I just posted this, but let me break down some cool stats for you guys before we continue on here, if you don't mind. Just find the first page here. By the way, guys, just before we get going, let's relax a little bit today. You know, no guest today. It's just me. It's been a while, so let's have a little chit chat. I'll stare at myself in the computer here, and you can listen or watch me. So yeah, let's. I got to admit, when there's been 2025 has been huge year for the podcast. Huge guests, and I took some at any time of the day, and sometimes you were like, hey, I got time Friday at my time, 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. And they go, oh, yeah, no problem. Let's do Saturday, your time, 2 a.m. And you're like, okay, great. I'm in. But as I said, there's just some guests at any time on the 24-hour clock. You just let me know and we do it. So anyway, it's been a big year and for the podcast. So real quick here, I'm not sure the difference between these two, but who cares? I never called myself smart. Don't get me wrong. 46% increase in audience from last year. I guess that would just be overall. So that's great. Thank you, everybody. 999% increase in new audience from last year. Yo, that's big. Thank you very much to all our new followers, everybody, brand new friends of the Shout Out Army. I appreciate you all. I promise. As I've explained, I'm just a guy trying to do stuff, and I like flap my gums. So it's pretty cool. Thank you very much to our new friends of the show as well as old. Thank you. 20% increase in followers from last year. So again, I mean, I've had a couple big guests. So I could see why that would happen. Thank you very much. 21% increase in total listening time from last year. So again, moving up. Shout Out Podcast episode 123 with Cody Jerome was the most listened to podcast in 2025. And yeah, that was quite the podcast coming off his unfortunate debut at one championship. But I appreciate him, while it still stung that he was willing to get on and talk about that situation. So that was a hell of a podcast. 26 countries across the world have been reached in 2025. What? Thank you very much, everybody around the world. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. Top five countries. So here's how I thought this went personally. Canada, number one, obviously. I would have picked US, number two. Number three, probably, UK. Obviously, I've had Kieran Keddle on lots, Damian Traynor, Liam Harrison. It just kind of makes sense to me. Was that number three? I can't remember four. Anyway, other than that, I would say maybe Australia. And then I guess it'd be four. One more, and I don't know, Ireland, maybe Mexico. I was really unsure. So I got to be honest, I was pretty surprised by this list. So my top five countries from 2025 that listen to the Shout Out Podcast. Number one, Canada. That's for you, Canada. Yes, it should be that way. Thank you. Canada first. All right. Number two, Singapore. I don't know anybody in Singapore. That's crazy. Shout out to you, Singapore. I never would have guessed, but I mean, I'm honored. Thank you. That's unbelievable. So Singapore, number two. UK, number three. Kind of figured it would be around there. Oh, did I mention the US, by the way? Did I even say US in my top five list? I don't know. Sorry, guys. A little scatterbrained. Obviously, the US would have been in there. Speaking of which, number 4 was the US. And number 5, again, I never would have seen this coming. Portugal. Portugal, where are you at? Thank you very much, Portugal. Shout out to you guys. I mean, I know a couple Portuguese people, but like actually in Portugal, I don't know anybody that even lives there. So, wow, that's pretty crazy. I was pretty surprised to see that. Number 1, Canada. Number 2, Singapore. Number 3, UK. Number 4, US. Number 5, Portugal. Cool. I'm a top 10 show for the Shut Up, not me. The Shut Up podcast is a top 10 show for 397 fans, a top 5 show for 324 fans, and the number 1 show for 143 fans. 2025 fan favorite. My average rating was higher than 70. The podcast, not me. Sorry. The average rating was higher than 73% of other shows. 2025 talked about show. Oh yes, I said I because this says you. So I'm like, that's what I mean. The podcast. The podcast receives more comments than 89% of other shows. That's crazy awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Listen, before we continue on with this, I've said it a million times, but this has been something else. And 2025 was obviously a very big year for the podcast. Let me tell you why. Number 1, more shows, bigger guests, starting to do fight interviews, before 4 shows, Instagram Live, even on here, little podcasts with promoters. And it's a grind, guys. It's a lot of work. And I don't mind. I love it, obviously. I mean, I've been doing it 4.5 years now, so I obviously love it. But I'd love some help. Here it is, the podcast looking for sponsors. Okay, listen, we're established. We're clearly a staple in the Muay Thai community, and or at least I'd like to think so. If not, at least Calgary and area. We've had worldwide guests. There's shirts all over the place. Thanks very much, guys. Like I just said, 150 episodes deep. I'd love to make. I would love to put more time into the podcast than everything. Than some of the not everything else. Well, yeah, that'd be great. Than some of the other things in my life. If you can't tell, this is weird for me. I'm not used to asking for help or sponsorship. I don't really know how this works. But here's what I can tell you. I run a gym. I still teach classes pretty much every day. I still try to coach fighters and competitors. I have a family. I commentate and I have the podcast. And the reality is, not only does this podcast, do I not get paid for it? All good. Nobody pays me. But it costs me money. And so the reality is this cannot be a priority above all those other things. If we could get if the podcast could get some help, and I don't know how, but we could figure it out. I'm an easy guy. I'm just a guy. And the reality is if I could afford to spend more time on this, whether it be better equipment, maybe a podcast studio, traveling more for interviews, hiring a social media team to help me with the social media. I do it all myself. And that would be I want that to happen. I would love to be able to afford to spend more time doing this and going more, bigger. And I don't mean because I'm trying to get rich off this. That's not it at all. I love this. This is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my whole life. And I had no idea. The amount of friends I've made, the amount of friendships and acquaintanceships that have become stronger, new fans of the show that I've personally got to know. And listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all been up. There's been a couple relationships that have gone sour because of the podcast, and I'm sorry about that. I never want that to happen. But when you have, like that, one of my stats was like over 100,000 hours in listening time. Listen, you try to be honest, but not everyone's going to agree with what you got to say. So anyway, the podcast is growing. It's only been growing every year. If you are, whether it's a gear brand, even a Muay Thai brand, if you are a business, a Canadian business, a local business, international business, either way, obviously a lot of this content is Canadian driven. So I would love to work with Canadian companies, but don't get me wrong. If you're a fan of the show, I would love to have a chat, and let's see how we can grow this even more for 2026, and not just on my end. If you're helping out the podcast, I want to help you out. Let's figure out how we can do this together. So companies, talk to me. Let's see how we can make this even bigger. Anyway, moving on. That was weird. Very, very weird for me to do, but it's time. It's time. I would love to. I'd love to push the envelope a little bit with this and be able to and spend and afford more time on this. Anyway, and that's because of you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Let's kick it back a little old school. Do me a quick favor, guys. If you could like the podcast on all your social medias, your TikToks and your Facebooks and your Instagrams, and whatever else is out there, I'd really appreciate that. YouTube as well. It really goes a long way. Even a little further, if you could share the podcast, share it with a friend, family member, or foe. Who knows? You share it with a foe, they become appreciative. They become a friend. Who knows? Then maybe they become family. All because the Shout Out podcast brought you together. So do me a quick favor. If you could share it, maybe write a little thing. Oh, Jay's the best. Hey, sponsor him, whatever. I'd appreciate that. It really goes a long way, guys. And of course, in the words of my man B Kong, only the real one subscribe. So make sure you subscribe to the Shout Out podcast. All those things take honestly less than 10 seconds, maybe less than a minute. But it really helps me out, guys. If you could do that, I'd really be appreciative. All right. Oh, the other thing I wanted to bring up, guys. So do me a favor, help me out, and I can tell you that I try my best. Listen, I'm a one-man army here, and I talk to a lot of people. When can we do a podcast? When can we do a podcast? Do me a favor, just remind me. I do think it's a little bit unfair for me that we just get to walk by at an event. Hey, so I'm going to do a podcast. Like it just gets left. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying it happens all the time. But then it gets left to me. Like I have to remember, hey, we're both at this event. You just get to drop that and leave it with me, and I got to remember that. Like, and I try, but do me a favor. Just poke me. Hey, man, I know we talked about doing a podcast, and then let's try to make it happen. So, if I've accidentally forgotten you, it's not out of ignorance. It's just out of ADD brain. I'm sorry. Just give me a quick poke. Hey, I know we talked about maybe doing a podcast. Is this still something we can do? And I guarantee you, if we've talked about it, we can do it. I got to do my real life stuff first and things get forgotten, and I apologize. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's pretty much that. Let's move on. So we went to the Muay Thai World Cup on the weekend. Hope you guys had a good time there. I got to commentate a couple things beforehand. So Kieran Walsh from Australia, he's been on the podcast now 3 times, and I've made it very clear how I feel about him. He's an important person in my life. Whether he meant to be that or not, it was maybe by accident, but very insightful with like Muay Thai, real Muay Thai. I mean, when I have questions about, anything, he knew what the Nai Kenom Tom title stood for. He knows the WBC rules, how things are done in Thailand, how referees are supposed to count for a downed opponent, and how fights should be judged and based on the scoring criteria. Like he's an encyclopedia of Muay Thai. So it was really awesome to have him here and listen to the things I said many times on the broadcast. By the way, I understand you guys couldn't hear a lot of it, so I tried my best to yell at the guys to get that fixed. But just his insight on how he thinks it should be done and scored, and anyway, it was just really cool to listen to him do that. And then come to the gym on Friday and hang out with some of my people, and man, the guy's just a gem of the earth kind of fellow. I'm very appreciative of Mr. Kieran Walsh. So, now the Muay Thai World Cup. I get to the event. Let me tell you about this. So for those who didn't know, I got to announce fight number 3, Nicole Sariska versus Zina Shu. And I had no idea that was happening. I'm going to tell you how this went. So I was hanging out. I got to the hotel. I was hanging out. And Dale from Top Notch, shout out to you, Dale, says like, hey, man, I hear you're announcing a fight tonight. And I'm like, what? Like, no, just commentating. He's like, no, John Wheel told me that you're announcing a fight. I'm like, nobody's talked to me about this. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to commentate and do my thing. Who cares? Whatever. Anyway, so we sit down, we get ready to commentate, and the ring announcer, the MC, Jonathan Wheel, comes up to me and goes, hey, so you're going to announce fight number 3 here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Nobody's talked to me about this. And he goes, what the hell are you talking about, man? We talked about this on the podcast. But like, I'm not going to remember that. But to be honest, looking back on it, I guess I kind of do, but I guess I just didn't really believe him. No offense, Mr. Wheel. And so I'm like, what the hell? Like, for real? And I'm like, why not? Why not? So I'm always up for something a little new like that, you know. And but I could tell you the second I was like, all right, let's do it. And don't get me wrong, I had my buddy Steve beside me. He's been my friend since junior high, so you know, you gotta like not show off, but you know, gotta show you're not gonna wimp out. I got Kieran Walsh on the other side, and I'm like, well, I really gotta show this guy I'm not a wuss. I'm like, shit, I gotta do this. And then I didn't know this was coming either. So then Jonathan Wheel, hey, the Shadow Podcast sponsored by, and the host, and I'm like, oh shit, I really got to do this now. So I get up there, and here's how I kind of think of public speaking personally. So by the way, and I told you guys, hey, listen, be nice to me. I'm shaking nervous. I heard some of you laughing. I heard my commentating friend Kieran and my buddy Steve laughing at me. As I'm reading it, that paper is just absolutely shaking in my hand. And I knew it. So I told you guys, hey, listen, I'm shaking nervous to do this. And I absolutely was. Literally, you could see me shaking. And you're like, why? Like, what, who cares? Why are you so shaking nervous? And to be honest, here's what it was. I'm like, how do I do this? Do I go like, your next fight at this weight, this many rounds from this gym, this person? And I'm like, oh shit, I got to remember that for the next person, that same order. So I was like I was a little worried that, you know, I'd from Island MMA, this fight at 122. Oh shit, I should have said that first. And like, anyway, it was cool. Here's how I think about it. I've been teaching classes for decades, actual decades. So when I'm up there, I just think of it as I have a big class, just speak to the big class charismatically. And that's just kind of how I do it. I do admit that sometimes I'm a little worried about dead air. Like even on here, you know, this is what I'm trying to avoid. This. So I hate dead air. And I admit when I'm doing interviews in the ring too, half the time I'm not listening to what you're saying. Like I catch the first half, then I'm kind of like, oh shit, what do I ask next? I don't look like an idiot. And even when I had to interview Jake, and I didn't realize it was going to happen at that time. And so, hey, you're going to interview Jake. And Jake was like, you going to interview me? I'm like, I don't know, I guess. So it gets confirmed, like, hey, you're going to interview Jake. I'm like, oh, okay. And even Jake was like, hey, what are you going to ask me? Just so I'm prepared. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, for real. I don't know. Here we go. All right, Jake, one champion. No idea. Just let it roll. So that was a cool experience. You know, I'm not against it, but when you're commentating, it's just my voice, and then I can deal with what you guys listen to or have to say after. But when I'm actually there, I'm just tucked away in the corner, and you can't really see me. So I kind of prefer that. Anyway, let's break. What else have I got here? Oh, one other quick thing I wanted to bring up. So on the commentary, so I understand that until the professional portion of the show, you could barely hear Kieran Walsh, which sucks because his insight's unbelievable. Maybe that gets fixed for YouTube. But you heard me kept saying water weird. Water. As kind of like an inside joke. So me and Kieran on Friday night went for a beer, and Kieran Walsh, and I could have sworn he said to the waitress, can we get a table order? And I was like, and even though I'm like, oh, I better look at the menu, I'm like, that's a weird way to say you want to put your order in. Like, can we take our table order? I'm like, that's weird. Anyway, so I go to say something, and the waitress walks away, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're not ordering. And I'm like, what did you say? And he's like, water. Like he wanted water. He's got that Australian accent, but I heard order. Like he wanted to order. And I'm like, oh, water. So it kind of became a thing off then. Hey, do you have any water? Right? Water. And so he tried to say it with a little bit of an accent instead of a thick one. And it just became an inside joke. So everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? That's where that came from. One other quick thing, guys, just before we break into the fights. At the after party, so shout out to Turkey and Pistols. I was wearing one of his shirts that said "I heart" and then the number 2 fight. I heart to fight. Anyway, that's the shirt I was wearing that night. And you're in a packed room full of fighters. Everyone's wearing a Muay Thai fight shirt, right? Anyway, there was a guy there, and I would say minimum 65 years old, and he kept eyeballing me, and I'm like, it's got to be the shirt. I could feel him looking at me. And this went on for a good few 10, 12, maybe 20 minutes, a while. And I started like telling the people at my table, like, hey man, this guy's eyeballing me, I'm telling you. And then they started to notice too. Anyway, at the corner of my eye, he starts walking towards the table. And I'm like, okay, boys, here we go. and he comes over and he's like, hey, I like your shirt. And I'm like, oh, yeah, thank you. And then he says, can I show you mine? And I'm like, sure, no problem. So he lifts up his hoodie and he's wearing a t-shirt in the same style. Now, I told you this guy's like minimum 65 years old, right? It's in the same style of writing. It says, I love Beaver. I laughed so hard. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh, okay, this is making sense now. But anyway, you win. I thought that was funny. All right, let's get to the fights, guys. So, first of all, thank you very much, Kieran. Thank you for the Muay Thai World Cup. I always love commentating. It's one of my favorite things to happen during the year. I do apologize that during the interview with Jake, I accidentally went into podcast mode and dropped an F-bomb. Whoops. Sorry, everybody. But anyway, let's start with the main event. So for the WBC 9 Kenomtom belt, we had Quinn Waslik from Calgary, Dunamis versus Ulazbat Turbayar from Mongolia. Boy, that was a hard-nosed fight. And I got to say, Quinn, the last two fights, you've pulled back some aggression. I might have said this on the podcast or the pay-per-view, but you're a little bit less aggressive and slightly more calculated, and I think that's making you way more dangerous of a fighter, man. You have been so pinpoint those last two fights, kind of pulling back the aggression a little bit, like offensive pressure, but not aggression. And man, but once you found that home for the right knee, and you recognized, I'm sure everybody in your corner did too. It was pretty much game over from there. But dude, I gotta tell you, Quinn, you got judo throwed beautifully, completely against the rules. But it looked cool. I'm just sorry you were on the receiving end. But yeah, Ulazbat, man, tough guy. But I haven't ever seen a Mongolian fighter in with my eyes or on TV that isn't just harder than a coffin nail. And Ulazbat was no different. And man, that was a hard grind of a fight. And Quinn comes out the winner again, and you can see that. And maybe from coaching too, he's been coaching a little while now, and you can see his little coach's talk thing he does on internet, Instagram. That probably coaching and doing a lot of teaching is going to improve you as a fighter, and it's not a guess, it's a for sure. I'm telling you, that's what happens. But just him overall, you could tell he's almost shed like a youthful skin and I don't mean like literally, but like he shed a skin and he's someone else, just all the way around, as a man, as an instructor, as a fighter, and man, it's cool to see. It's cool to see people rise like that and watch their build up and all that good stuff. So it was really cool. Great fight. Congratulations. Clearly a Unimat. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you stopped him, right? Yeah, I'm sure. I can't even remember anymore. Listen, guys, it's so hard. By the way, when I'm commentating, I at the end, if I pick somebody who I thought win or lost, for God's sakes, don't take that literal. It's a weird job. Excuse me. And I've said it before, where like I have people poking at me, hey, your mic's not working, and hey, don't forget this. Can you hand me that? And so people are all, kind of all over the place bugging you, and I'm trying to tell you, and I've said this lots, I know. I'm trying to tell you what's happening right now. So as things are happening, I'm trying to sort of process them and get them out my mouth without being, and for me, I feel like I've never been trained. I don't have no idea what I'm doing, but it feels like sometimes I talk too much and sometimes I talk too little. So I'm trying to find a balance of like when to shut up and just let the fight happen a little bit. Like I don't have to acknowledge every technique thrown, right? So I admit that at the end of the round, for the most part, like I kind of forget what happened. I'm just so worried about like what's happening now and getting that to you guys. So if I pick a winner or whatever, like I'm telling you, take it with the grainiest of salt. All right. I just, unless it's so one-sided, I can tell it's hard for me, I admit. And I've never taken a judging course. So I just want to make that clear. I am by no means any authority on who won, lost, or anything like that. My opinion is just that. Anyway, so congratulations, Quinn. Let's go back here. Whoops. Sorry. I'm just using my book that I had from the fights here. I just made sure I brought it home. Oh, yeah, of course. WBC 15-pound title fight. Sahez Lohat versus Kate Clement. I'm sorry. Kate Clements. Yeah, sorry. Okay. I tried to say this. I think it was in the ring, and sometimes it doesn't come out right. It feels weird because I'm talking on a mic and I'm nervous, but I'm going to be real with you. Sometimes it's rare I get to see female fighters have that much sort of torque and snap on their punches. I'm not saying all or even half, but when I think of someone like Amanda Nunes in the UFC, like she's got that concussive crack at the end of her hands. And I'm not saying it's uncommon in the women's division, but I think it's considerably more uncommon than in the men's division. For all biological reasons, right? But I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But usually what you have is somebody who's got that, and it's impressive, and somebody who doesn't have it to that standard, their standard. Both Kate and Sahez, their hands, the punching, the power, the entry, the speed, the combinations, the snap, the torque, both of them were way above average of what we normally see. That was a hell of a fight. I suspected that's what we were going to see, to be honest. I know both of them have great, confident hands. They move well. And even their clinching was really good. But, like, that was awesome. That was a proper title fight. And Sahez, I saw you tearing up. Obviously, broke my heart when I left the ring. Listen, your time's coming. Your time's coming. You have the team. You have the skills. You have the experience. You have the attitude. It's coming. Keep going. All right? Your time is coming. Kate, as I said, it was an absolute pleasure to commentate your fights. Let's be real. See you fight as an amateur when maybe you weren't taking your diet quite as seriously to becoming an absolute physical beast. And that transformation, we all saw it. Don't get me wrong. Not just me. We all saw it. And just getting to know you on the podcast and the team at PFA, and it makes me feel old. I admit, when you see people have their first fights and then you see people have their last fights, that makes me feel old. And I just wanted to say it was a pleasure that I got to be part of that. I got to share that time with you at the end. And that picture of our hug, it's genuine. I'm genuinely proud of you, Kate. Well done. Bravo. But wow, what a fight. Kate just too big, in my opinion, in that sense. She came down in weight, Sahez moving up, and it showed. It showed. But that was a hell of a fight, and Sahez's time is coming. Maybe it was too heavy for her. Maybe she, that's very well too. But hey, listen, if you want things, you want to chase greatness, you want to be a champion, you take your chances. You take your opportunities when they come. So anyway, that was probably my fight of the night for sure. And man, I was just proud to witness that. That was great. We all were, I promise. Everybody was going wild. Congratulations, Kate, on an unbelievable career. Where do they go next? So Sahez, I'm trying to think here. Like 115 pounds, or I guess less, 110. I don't know, 12, somewhere around there. I don't know. There's got to be a million though out. There's a big team of females out east. Like there's lots of female fighters out, Ontario, Quebec. But I'll tell you what, I'd hate to be Sahez's next opponent. I bet she's hungry already. So anyway, moving on. Deval Garvey versus Kai Hilton. So Kai coming from Florida, Tampa. By the way, his instructor, Alex Barrios. I'm sorry if I'm not rolling my R's, man. I'm sorry. White guy from Canada. But you know what's funny? So I said hello to Kai, and Kai, don't get me wrong, man. We're still going to do an interview. I got to prioritize other things first before the podcast. But so we kind of had a chat trying to do Instagram Live. So I made sure I said, hi, listen, let's make sure we get an interview, and I don't want to let this go. And then I said hi to his coach. Hi, nice to meet you, whatever. And then I walked away, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've seen that coach fight live before in New York City. And went and confirmed, and like, yeah, Alex Barrios, yeah, that was me. I fought, and I'm like, holy shit, man, good to see you. So that was cool. From the literally the other side of the continent. Pretty awesome. Deval Garvey doing a good job of making some cute little clips, looking for a dance partner for the Muay Thai World Cup. And then Kai Hilton answers. Now, I didn't have records I still didn't on fight night of these guys. I think it might have been on the screen, but I wasn't paying attention. But I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong, but I can't be wrong by much. I think Kai said he's now something like 33-2 or 35-2. Dude, what a record. And Duvall himself, as you heard on the at the end of his fight, he's now on a 13 fight win streak. That is something. Unstoppable at the moment, man. And so yeah, that was an interesting fight. Kai really trying to move around and really throw some heavy hands, southpaw. And he did say, like, listen, I make people miss. I sweep people, moving and cracking people with my hands. Like, that's what I do, and I finish everybody. But he did say he felt the air, like, you know, when he started warming up, he was having trouble breathing. He absolutely noticed the altitude difference between Florida and Alberta, and I do hear that a lot. So he did say, holy cow, give me a full camp, let me prepare, let me do it again, and I'd love to come back and fight. He didn't necessarily say a rematch. By the way, had nothing but good things to say about Duvall. Kai, a family man, full-time job. Dude, you're a real one, man. You respect, man to man. Just, it was great talking to you, man. Good to meet you. Yeah, you know, Duvall, so he said he got rocked, man. Like, you know, he got hit pretty hard. He got wobbled by I think it was a left hand of Kai. Again, it's hard to piece all these together, but he said, and now Duvall, you said, like, you know, I felt I got a little exposed. I don't know, man. That's an unfair statement. I thought for what we normally see, Kai's movement and stuff was maybe a little awkward from what we're normally, I'm not saying bad, but a little different than what we're used to seeing. But if there's anything I would say, if I'm being honest, is that if there's any part of your game you might feel less confident in, it's probably your punching. Hence why you're good at clinching. So I didn't say exposed anything. I just think, and the reality is you're the champ, man. You found a way to win. You got inside, you got away from the hands. It's you know, there's 8 different weapons. There's a few different ranges you get to fight in. So you took away his best range. You found one of yours, buried a knee. Fight was over. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good fight. Interesting clash of styles. And you know, if there's anything I've learned as a coach, it's that your style doesn't change in one fight. It won't even change in 2. It's got to be in little increments. So, you know, it's just how it works. Nothing changes. Your fight style does not change in one fight. That's not how that works. I'm not saying it can't happen, but for the most part, that's not how that works. So anyway, I thought once you kind of found that strategy, get inside, and Quinn, you know, very similar with the right knee. Once he found a home there, take away the range, tip the momentum in your favor, you keep it. So well done. And like you said, man, you don't want an easy fight all the time. You want to know you've been in one. You know, you want to know. It's always the same questions you want to know about yourself, and they get answered in a hard fight. But then maybe if you have a couple not so hard fights, maybe you forget. So you just need a reminder once in a while, right? It's always the same questions, but every once in a while you forget, you need a reminder. So anyway, congratulations, Duvall Garvey. Another stellar win. 2 finishes in a row at the Muay Thai World Cup. Maybe more, but at least the 2 that I remember anyway. So Duvall, where does he go? 165. Oh, I was talking to Kieran on the Instagram Live. It sounds like, oh shoot, who am I thinking about? Was it F.A. Caliscan, I think, in Duvall? Was that the fight I'm thinking? You know, Quinn looking at the top 20. I'll tell you what, at 154 pounds, so if Quinn fights for an international title next in the top 20, bro, take a look at that top 20. Woo. There's no easy fight in there, man. I'm sure Quinn fully knows that and expects that, but that is a solid ass top 10, top 20 in Muay Thai, that division. Yo. Yeah, 165. So, and you know, we talked about this with Duvall as well. You know, the pool's getting thin in Canada. As you see, Quinn now, it's time for him to move on. Oh, Stefan Dronjak, that's who it is. Duh. Got to make that fight happen. Kieran said that's absolutely got to happen on the Instagram Live. So you can hopefully expect that to be your next opponent. And a friend of the show as well, Mr. Joniak. So hopefully we see him on the Muay Thai World Cup soon, and that'll be a good fight too. Stefan, long time trained in Thailand, still there, or traveling. And I thought too was on the podcast one of the cool interviews of a guy who's Canadian but has probably spent more time now sort of doing the fight business in Thailand than in Canada. So he has a cool perspective. So yeah, that's the fight we can expect down the pipe. Kai Hilton, he wants back. He wants back on the Muay Thai World Cup. Just wants a proper camp, but said he loved it. Couldn't believe he woke up to see mountains coming from, Florida. Where he's like, if you have a hill, we all can see a little hill. So he thought that was pretty cool. And just such a super, super chill guy. I'd love to see him back too. All right. And then we had at 160 pounds, Mr. Kyle Bad News Messenger versus Mike Doherty. Mike, I couldn't remember your gym name, man. When you walked to the ring, I'm like, Viking, Striking? Sorry, Nomad. My apologies, sir. Okay. I did not expect this, guys. I'm going to be real with you. You called me a little bit of a liar for all the right reasons. I thought you guys were going to fight irresponsibly. Sometimes that's fun to watch, but you guys didn't. Kyle stayed a little more on the back foot, tried to stay a little more calculated. Mike staying on the front foot, but also staying calculated. I think I said this on the pay-per-view, but if you looked at Mike's body, dude, that dude is thick. Just a thick, solid core. And Kyle Messenger did confirm, dude, when I tried to kick him and he didn't even budge, like Kyle himself said, oh boy, this should be interesting. Kyle smacking the legs of Mike Doherty, Mike putting the hands on Kyle. A little more of a calculated, professional-looking fight, to be honest. I'm going to be honest, I thought Kyle won that fight. Again, don't take that at all with any sort of realism. I'm just trying to relay, and so it's hard. And I don't mean any disrespect to Mike at all. I mean, to be honest, if anything, I'm going to have to go rewatch these fights again with the sound off. That way I can assess it properly. That's analytically instead of get excited. And they always look different when I watch them on the replay than I do live. So I'm very curious to see on the replay. So anyway, I certainly don't mean any disrespect to someone who, won and I thought they lost. I just pick one and I'm not a judge. All right. Forgive me. Just pretend to be one. So yeah, both these guys, beards, no hair. They run gyms. They've been around a long time. And, it was cool to see Kyle, my commentary partner, get back after it. I know he's wanted to for a while. We're friends. We've had some conversations. He's had some things happen that, in my opinion, made it seem like you had to let it go, Kyle. And, Kyle found his groove, found some rhythm with life, gym ownership, and off he went. And it was cool, man. It was cool to see you in there. And Mike Doherty, it was just cool to see you smile and just be chill at the end. And, hey, it's just a fight. Been around a long time, and thanks for having me. And what a cool place. And Kyle's a good dude. And those are the kind of people I like to cheer for real. Like, the bravado, and it's fine. I'm not saying it's just. I'm just a guy. That's how I look at myself. I'm just a chill dude. I don't have any problems. I don't want problems. And when you look at these kind of guys, they're just appreciative to be there and be part of it. And good fight. You want to lose? Hey, man, we got after it, and I can appreciate that. A fan of both those men. I don't know if so Kyle, I know, was talking about, I don't know if I'm going to do this again. Mike, I'm not sure if you feel any different, but between, having family and kids, and something has to sacrifice somewhere when you whether it be gym or administration or your at home life, something has to sacrifice. And in the words of maybe Mike Bondi, episode 3, maybe 4 or 5, maybe somehow you don't end up with more responsibilities in life, but you sure as hell never end up with any less. Preach, right? You never end up with less response, always more, but never less. And so as age and all that stuff, it becomes harder and harder to fight. So I'm curious to see if both these guys want to keep going. And don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting they retire. They're grown-ass men. They do what they want. But good, clean fight, boys. Good to see you guys in there. Proper representatives of Muay Thai in our country. And well done. Whoa. I feel like I'm missing one here. Sorry, one sec, guys. Oh, no, we're good. I didn't say Siri. Stop phone. All right, and then we had our WBC 130-pound amateur title fight. Gavin Legg, or Ledge, apparently, as I like to call him. Gavin Legg from Arashido Lumpai Yushiwa Park versus Logan Sanderson, Alavanca Airdrie under Drew Vandervelden, friend of the show. Both coaches, friend of the show, matter of fact. I'm going to be honest with you, because that's what I try to do. That fight went as I thought it would. Gavin himself just turned 18, and it's not just that he's just young, but that is part of it. But dude, Logan is like a thick, stable fighter, man. He's compact, and he really showed that his last Muay Thai World Cup. Not a lot of bouncing. Although very, very aware of his distance, but he was inching in and looking to put the pressure on you the entire fight. And man, some crisp boxing, body to head combination, especially his left hook. Gavin, phenomenal job stepping in with those elbows. And just a good array of Muay Thai skills, and in general, just a good arsenal. So I admit that the size played a part in it, and I'm sure he could tell you that more than anybody. But listen, man, you're a young pup just entering into the men's division. Don't worry, man. You're beautiful style. Good job, Logan. Congratulations, man. I have a soft spot for your dad, and to see him come flying across the floor when you're announced the winner was cool, man. That was cool to see. It's because I also have a son. It's cool to see. It pulls on your heart when you see a father just over the moon proud of their son, and you're just like, man, I can't wait for those moments with my own son, right? You kind of put yourself there, so that was a cool moment, and congratulations, man. I heard Logan's next fight. I'm sure. I could be wrong, but I think I got told, at least as far as if it would happen on the Muay Thai World Cup, and it was an interesting fight. Gavin, where does Gavin go next? Just keep. Well, this whole world is now open up. This completely new thing, right? The men's division. Just keep getting that experience, man. Yeah, you got good skills. It's just, as long as you're believing in you, and you believe in your coaches who also believe in you, don't worry about that win-loss shit, man. That's just, again, we've said this on the podcast, especially with Sandra. It's who you fight. What's your record? Good. Who did you fight? And dude, your resume is sick. All right, so it's coming, man. It's coming. Just keep going. Okay, great style. You look like your coach, man. You fight like Derek. And last time I checked, that guy's a manimal. So keep it up, buddy. All right, moving on down the list. Sean Newberry from Dunamis, fighting Cameron Billy for the vacant WBC Cruiserweight title at 195 pounds. So I heard lots of good things about Cameron Billy, just from Team Canada, and I watched when they went to Italy, but never seen him fight before. Sean Newberry, he's coming with that jab. So I was, and Sean's been on the shelf for a long time, not from his own doing, just having fight canceled one after another. And I'm curious, I wonder if that played a fact. I mean, he's a guy who just likes to fight. I doubt it, but I'm curious if it felt, a little bit of ring rust. Yeah, Cameron Billy. So taking this fight, so Cameron won. Now, congrats. Super nice guy. Got to talk with him all night. He was super proud of himself, as he should be. That's a sweet belt, buddy. I got to wear it and get a picture with the champ. I initially thought Sean won. But it was a little bit weird to score. Sean was, if I'm being honest, was a little too jab heavy. Instead of using the jab maybe as a setup, jab to kick, jab to knee, jab to the cross, bang, bang. Although it was landing well, and then started landing some elbows, clearly as demonstrated. A little bit later in the fights or in the rounds in the clinch. Cameron doing a little bit better in the kicking department. I gotta rewatch this again. God, I barely forget, or I barely remember. But I knew it was close, and then they did the decision, or the judges. It took them, a good long time. And I'm not calling anybody out, but I do admit that when Mike Zantek, that the head official, was clearly talking to the other judges, all three of them were surprised by something. And listen, I swear to God, these aren't robots. Okay, these judges are human. Maybe somebody made a mistake. Maybe, I have no idea, by the way. Maybe somebody thought the blue corner was the red corner, or I don't know. Maybe they thought there was a knockdown and there wasn't. I don't know. Who cares? We're humans. All right. So if anything, we take the time, we take the 5 minutes to figure out what happened. Let's just be 100% clear, and then we move on. So I just want the officials to know I'm not calling you out at all. And if there was an error, human error happens. I suppose the other thing maybe could be depending on the scorecards too, as well. So with a split decision, like maybe they were so far on opposite ends, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Let's just make it easy. The winner won 5 rounds to 0, but the split decision on the other side had the 0 rounds to 5. 5 rounds for the blue team. Hey, look at that. There you go, blue and red. If you're looking at the TV there, these guys, 2 judges say 5 rounds to 0. 1 judge says 5 rounds to 0. I would imagine somebody would want to have a word about that, but I have no idea. I really don't know. Don't really care, to be honest. Not my job. So yeah, congratulations, Cameron. Billy, should there be a rematch? I don't know. It makes it more fun. Like, yeah, sure. Does it have to be immediate? I don't know. I don't know how this works. Again, I'm not the matchmaker or anything, but I could see how it kind of builds a little bit for another fight. Listen, this is controversial, and commentator thought the red corner won, and now they took 5 minutes. Like, yeah, I could see how it builds a little anticipation. But if I'm being honest, I would like to see both of you come with a more refined game plan. I don't know if refined is the right word, but damage. You heard Kieran Walsh say that all the time. The bottom line is you got to cause damage. We need more damaging, effective shots. I'd like to see either kind of put exclamations on their shots just a touch more, or have some setups to those big shots. So I think there's work to do there on both sides. However, those guys have been around a long time. Congratulations to Cameron and Billy, but I'm just trying to ask, like Sean himself said, hey, is there something that you saw? What happened? What did you see? I'm curious to know your opinion. So if I'm being honest, that would be my opinion. All right. 195, man. I don't know. Who's in that division? 195. 95. Tim Lowe? Could either of those guys fight Tim Lowe? I mean, that's the division, right? Okay. Former champ? Yeah. I suppose Tim Lowe's in the mix, yeah? That guy's always looking for a fight. Or is that light heavyweight? Because again, Martello Jones knocked out Tim Lowe at the Muay Thai World Cup in Ontario. And for that matter, maybe Martello. Okay, there's some big fights out there at that weight. If not a rematch, I mean, there's those two guys. Now, what does Kobe Carr weigh? Because he just entered the men's division as well, 175. So he's got to become in the mix of some of this too. Anyway, congratulations, Cameron Billy. It's also awesome to see somebody celebrate, really celebrate that hard. It's cool. It's cool when people do that, man. They're over the moon with their win. So next up, we had Jack Antonini from LFG Calgary versus Ethan McInnes from Kempe. So I just learned Kempe. I've never even heard you guys from Cold Lake. And cool. Thanks for coming down, being part of the Muay Thai World Cup. As mentioned as well, it might have been a tough night in the office for you guys, but dude, you guys showed up. Maybe you didn't take away wins. Okay, let me speak for myself. Maybe you didn't take away a win, but you guys all earned my respect. Holy shit. Never say die. You came to fight, and even one of your fighters got stopped, still had a giant smile on his face. Dude, you can't teach that. I don't know what you guys are eating or drinking up in Cold Lake, but hard as up there. And love to see you back, guys. Thanks for being part of that. Yeah, Jack Antonini. Certainly my first time seeing him fight from LFG here in Calgary. Put on a hell of a show. Looked good. If I recall, this at 145, right? Yeah. So there was a head kick, the one that knocked his opponent down there, head kick. And unfortunately, I don't remember the finish, but I know that it did not go to decision, and certainly caught my eye, Jack. As far as 145 amateurs, again, I don't know the records of these guys, so you don't want to like send people to the Sharks, but you think amateur at 145. I don't know. Moving on down here. Coy Clark versus Devin Wessybeck. At 205. So again, full Muay Thai fight here. Again, sorry guys, I'm having a hard time. I'm gonna have to rewatch these and almost review them and come back on here. But I do remember us thinking Devin, pretty impressive boxing. Not a lot of fat on his techniques for a guy at 205. Usually you see some swinging, and not much from him. Good clean technique. I think Coy Clark as well. I can't remember. I think Coy won this fight. I'm sorry, guys. There's some fights you're just like, Jesus, I forgot that happened. I don't know much about, so I guess MMAC is where Coy is from in Saskatoon. Again, some newcomers to the Muay Thai World Cup. And Devin from Saka and Medicine Hat. Obviously know Jamie, the crew down there at Saka for a long time. They hold their own fight card, Fist of Fury. And yeah. So unfortunately, I can't remember, unfortunately. But I'm sorry, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay. Justin Sparrow. So this is at 185 pounds. Justin Sparrow from Elite Martial Arts versus Terrell Johnson from Kempe. And first of all, I said this on the broadcast, bro. Justin's left leg got fucking battered. Dude, he had some giant lumps on his shin. It was swollen. After the fight, when he was walking back to the change room, I was looking down at his calves, and like even his calf was swollen on the left side. Like, holy cow, I haven't seen too many shins like that, to be honest. And now that I remember it, now that I'm saying this, these guys absolutely had a slobber knocker of a fight. It was crazy. And I got excited for that one. And I kind of think, like, for the most part, at least the first, it seemed like for sure 5 to 9 fights, maybe one not, but boy, round one, people wanted to get after it, and this fight was no different. Justin Sparrow, I believe, stopped his opponent. Again, just having trouble remembering. But, boy, it got wild. That was a wild fight. So congratulations, Justin. I've seen him fight a few times now, or got to commentate, I think, before. Lucas Halliday versus Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper as well from MMAC in Saskatoon. And Lucas Halliday from Aries Muay Thai in Edmonton. So we've seen Lucas Halliday fight before. Now listen, Chris Cooper, good God, what a right hand of doom. And he caught Lucas round one, and things were not looking good for Lucas at all. And hey man, just stuck to his grind, Lucas stayed gritty, didn't get on himself or get discouraged or kind of concede that he was going to lose that fight. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he did, but you fought to the end, man. And like it's got to be 85% of this thing, right? Don't give up on yourself. But Chris Cooper just chucking hands like he's getting paid for it, and comes away with the win there versus Lucas. Carter Kaminga versus Emmanuel De Gia. So again, Emmanuel from Kempe, Carter Kaminga. We've seen Carter a few times on the Muay Thai World Cup, or other fight cards from Dunamis, and boy, quite a different young man in there. This one. I'd like to say, not that he lets people in fights, but like kind of okay, comfortable with the pace of a fight when it's a comfortable pace. And this time he pushed the pace and just did not let his opponent in at all. And there's no momentum at all. Carter kept it very aggressive, finished the fight, but again, very smart with his aggression. And first time I've said we've never seen that Carter before. And good Lord, look good on you, man. Congratulations, good win. And a nice young man, of course. Fight number 4, Nicole Sariska versus Zena Shu. So Zena fought 2 weeks ago. She fought in a four women's tournament. 4-person tournament. I don't know. Did I say that right? So she won 2 fights that night, and that was on Vancouver Island. I was out there off her Infinite Hearts. Shout out to Sandra. Great show. Thank you for having us part of that. And congrats to Aiden on his win. So 2 weeks later, she's now fighting again, and against Nicole, full Muay Thai. Zina, very busy, whether it's in and out and just a big volume of techniques. And Nicole was just having a hard time catching her, right? Getting her to stand still so she could do her thing. So congratulations, Zina, coming away with the win there. I like Zina and her dad, her coach. And she got to spend some time in the ring with my fighter, Kelly. And so, I stayed in contact with them, great people. And Nicole, too. You know, you and your dad, and obviously, you know, Kieran Keddle Academy. Just had a hard time with that one. Bit of an awkward style for you, but she'll be back. Oh, that was the fight I got to announce, too. So, I was nervous. All right, guys. And before this one, Jim Madden from Dunamis versus Mohammed Trabisi from Kingdom MMA. Bro, Jim, first of all, you looked happy to get hit and just be in there and be part of it. And you genuinely look like you're having fun in there, man. Shout out to you. Mohammed drops Jim with a spinning hook kick. Wow. That was good. And then drops Jim with a flying sidekick across the ring. Not only did he do that, but he like a movie, flying sidekick and lands in a stance. Like, that was fucking awesome. I've never seen a flying sidekick before, yet have it land to knock the guy down and end up in a sweet superhero movie stance. Bro, come on. Yeah, that was all of us. That was me. Flying sidekick. Flying sidekick. That was outrageous. And then Ryder Romero versus Carter McNichol. By the way, I'm sorry, guys. Carter won their first encounter. I said Ryder did, so I said Ryder is now 2-0. My apologies, guys. Like I said, I can't remember all this stuff. I'm sorry, but I probably should have done my homework a little bit further or written it down. So now they're actually 1-1. So Carter won the first fight. Ryder wins the second one, and both guys looking a little bit different as well, have some growing up to do. Is there going to be a third? Who knows? When young men grow up, they become, some don't gain weight, some gain a ton of weight. So who knows if these guys are even in the same weight class. But definitely the future of Muay Thai around here. And Carter, man, yeah, I like his style of Muay Thai. I noticed a few years ago when I was at Top Notch just visiting for the summer. Beautiful style for that young man. And same thing, man. Whether it's Ryder or Carter, there's a big future with both of these boys. Keep it up. Ryder takes the win on that one and becomes the WBC light welterweight national amateur champion. And I'm going to be real with you. The first fight was Alavanka and Lewis was his name. Did I get that right? You got it. And Blake from Lumpayu Sherwood Park. Listen, Lewis had a tough go in there. And here's what I could always say. Listen, the longer you do this combat sports, there's more of a chance, it's always going to happen. You get to be the hammer and you have to be the nail. Whether you're sparring or fighting, it just is what it is. Bit of a tough loss for that young man, but so what? It's just get your feet wet, learn how to do it, learn what it's about, the pressure, everything. People yelling at you, screaming at you, having somebody try to hit you for real. And here's what I always tell people. Don't beat yourself up about your losses. Here's why. Whether you win or whether you lose, you have to do the same thing on Monday. If you won your fight spectacularly, head kick knockout, oh my goodness. You still have to go to school Monday. You got your ass kicked. You lost the decision. I got dropped 3 times. I got battered. You got to go to school on Monday. So it doesn't matter. It matters to you, and I get it, work and sacrifice and coaching and blah, blah. I get it. But the world's not falling apart, and you got to go do the same thing Monday anyway. So just dust yourself off, get back to training. That's my advice. All right, guys, a little bit scattered. I'm not going to lie. It's been a while since I've just staring at myself on the computer. Again, thank you very much for all the for 2025, guys. There's still, I can tell you what, there's still at least one more big interview coming this year. But other than that, I'm not sure how many more I'll try to get done. Maybe a couple, some Instagram lives. I still want to talk to Kai. I want to talk to Cameron Billy. I want to talk to Steve from Redemption Muay Thai. And I know there's some more during Christmas time. Oh man, maybe there's a lot still. Sorry. Maybe I am busy. Christmas time, I'm up in Sherwood Park. I want to get together with Alex Skrutsky, friend of the show, and see how his karate combat event went, his fight, which is, I think, this weekend, maybe next. So maybe we are busy to the end of the year. Other than that, guys, I'll try to drop a maybe top 10 episodes. It's not, I don't know, maybe not. That's going to take work too. But you hear what I'm saying. I'd like to maybe slow it down for the year, the rest of the year, and enjoy my December and my Christmas break with my family and friends and students and all that good stuff. But of course, we will always stay busy. Thank you guys very much for listening. Shout out to Kieran Keddle once again for having me be part of the Muay Thai World Cup. I'm super appreciative. I'm just happy to be part of all this. Is what it comes down to. I just want to be part of it. That's all. And so thank you very much, Kieran Walsh. Thank you so much for letting me just talk in your ear all weekend. I just had so many questions about everything. How do you coach? How do you coach and teach and run a gym? How do you have a giant fight team? How often do you go to Thailand with all your fighters because they're always over there, scoring, cornering, judging, reffing, that guy could probably send me a bill for what I learned. So always appreciative, sir. To the fighters, to the fans, thank you so much, guys. This is really one of the coolest things I've ever done, and I'm really appreciative. Other than that, I think I got one guy, Odin, my young man, Odin. He's fighting October 12th or 13th, December 13th, whatever that Saturday is at Mike Miles. He's got a smoker event. And then besides that, I think that's going to be it for the year as far as events. Not going to lie, I've been absolutely grinding, just traveling. Shout out to Ben Pride and the guys at Westside Muay Thai, Capital Punishment. What a freaking great event. I loved being part of that. I'm very unhappy about how much I had to drink after that. But in saying that, it was cool. I got to rekindle, with Jason Fenton. I haven't seen him for years, and now I got to see him quite regularly. And God, I love that guy. Max Burge as well. Just what a great community we have here, man. You guys are my friends. There's no community like it. We're all a little sensitive. We'd all like to think we're kind of tough, and at the same time, we can all call each other kind of like, shut up, bitch, and laugh about it. So there's no community like it, and punch each other in the face with a smile. I'm appreciative, guys, and thank you very much for being part of the show. Let's wrap it up, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.